We're going to get rolling here. Donna, would you mind? Let me see here. Donna, would you mind starting the roll call for us?
Jason Olive.
Here.
Barb Moston.
Oh, she was going to call in, but is Mike calling?
He's calling now.
Joel Ward.
Here.
Kurt Roars.
Here.
All right, we'll come back to Barb. Please join us for
This is Barb. Hello?
Hang on a moment, Barb.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. All right, thank you, everybody. Let's get going through our routine business. Item number 4.01, minutes of the previous board meeting. Could I get a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
Second?
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is 4.02, accounts payable and vouchers. Could I get a motion?
Yes, I move for approval and ratification of the following payroll and accounts payable vouchers.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
Seconded.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, the motion carries. Mr. Narducci, is there any correspondence tonight?
President of Olive, there's no correspondence at this time.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to number 5.01, recognition. So this evening, we're going to recognize Castile Senior Fred Nemo. Is Fred here tonight? Hi, Fred. Welcome.
Fred, yay.
So Fred has been selected as recipient of the first ever Arizona School Boards Association Georgie and Calvin Good Student Scholarship. ASBA is pleased to award him with $1,250 to be forwarded to the college or university of his choice at the time his enrollment process is complete. Fred is one of two recipients for the scholarship, which ASBA says will be awarded annually to high school seniors who demonstrate an exceptional record of academic growth and commitment to service to others. Fred moved from Ghana at the beginning of the school year and started at Castile as a junior. He's worked hard to complete all necessary courses to graduate with the class of 2023. The submission below describes Fred as a student. Fred constantly earns high marks on his quizzes and tests. He is very knowledgeable when it comes to math topics. He just aced the test on unit cycle and trig functions with 100%. He works hard and is always willing to ask questions. He does a great job helping his peers and even helps motivate others to work hard. Fred has decided to attend ASU, where he will study computer sciences with a concentration on cybersecurity. Fred is the co-founder of the Shine Children, a nonprofit organization that seeks to advocate for high school students who are being bullied. They also host fundraising events to help provide underprivileged children with educational supplies. All right, a little bit about the scholarship namesakes, Georgie and Calvin Good. They believe deeply in service to others and education, not only as a pathway to one's own dreams, but also for the betterment of the whole community. While they may no longer be with us, they continue to be role models for our youth. Naming the scholarship in their honor is recognition of that, and we hope will further etch their impact on Arizona's history. Georgie and Calvin Good both spent their adult lives committed to service and dedication, and dedicated to the advancement of their communities, public education, and civil rights. Mr. Good, as Phoenix City Councilman for 22 years and as a member of the Phoenix Elementary School District Governing Board, and Mrs. Good as a public school teacher and a member of the governing boards of Phoenix Elementary School District and Phoenix Union High School District. Mrs. Good passed in 2015 and Mr. Good passed in December of 2020. All right. Congratulations, Fred. That's wonderful. All right, so next we get to do our student body president report. First, we have Hayden Darst from Hamilton High School.
Good evening. To reintroduce myself one last time, I'm Hayden Darst, and I'm the student body president at Hamilton High School. I want to thank the board and Superintendent Narducci for giving me the opportunity to catch you guys up on what's been going on at Hamilton. I did speak to you guys in late March, so this will be a pretty quick sum up. Starting with events. Right before spring break, we held our annual spring sports assembly. Stu had one last 4 a.m. wake up to assemble our awesome Surf's Up mural in the gym and get prepped for the assembly. It was a great success, and our students had a great time celebrating our spring sports. To go along with the theme, we had a visit from 2 sharks, and they had a wrestling match with Hammy during the assembly. Moving on to fourth quarter, Hamilton held our annual Student of the Year award ceremony to recognize some of our amazing students. Everyone had a good time getting recognized and eating breakfast. Administration also gave out our second annual Shadow Award to our student Emilio. On April 29th, Hamilton Student Government put on our prom. The theme was Once Upon a Night, Enchanted Forest. The event was held in downtown Phoenix at Events on Jackson from 8 to 11 p.m. Student Government sold over 1,400 tickets, which was a great turnout. Students had a great time dancing and hanging out. Now on to our spring sports. We celebrated another set of athletes signing to continue their athletic career. On signing day, we had 16 athletes sign, many of which signed to play at D1 schools. We are so proud and can't wait to see what they accomplish. Our teams this season had a great showing also. The boys baseball team has gone 16-1 this season and are playing in the state semifinals this Friday against Sandra Day O'Connor High School. Oh, sorry. Our girls flag football team had another great season, going undefeated in the regular season, but unfortunately lost to Castile in the finals last night. Softball had a good season, going 13-4 in the regular season, but came up short in the playoffs. Not pictured was boys volleyball. They had an interesting season, going 8-10, and unfortunately losing in the playoffs, but they tried their hardest. Girls tennis had a great season, going 11-3, unfortunately losing to Desert Mountain in the semifinals. Boys tennis also had an awesome season, going 13-1, also losing to Desert Mountain in the semifinals. Last but not least, track had a great year, winning multiple state titles. And now on to a few points of pride from this past quarter. Hamilton Esports won 2 state titles. We won the state championship for the games League of Legends and Super Smash Bros. Our academic decathlon team, led by Coach Beth Trotty, advanced to the national competition in Frisco, Texas from April 27th to the 29th. And additionally, Hamilton took second in the Super Quiz Relay. Our very own Hamilton chess team placed 20th in the nation in April at the National High School Chess Competition in DC. As we come to the end of the year, we are excited to celebrate the class of 23 graduates. We will be graduating at ASU Desert Financial Arena on Wednesday, May 24th at 2:30 p.m. I'm beyond excited and grateful to be giving the commencement speech. And as I conclude my last presentation, I want to express my gratitude to CUSD. I've been a Chandler Unified School District student for my entire academic career, starting at Fulton Elementary and then moving to Santan Junior High, and now at Hamilton Husky. The opportunities the district has provided have been amazing, and I am so grateful. This past year, I was given the opportunity to meet 5 other CUSD high school student body presidents, and I'm so thankful. They are some of the most amazing people I've met, and we've all grown super close over the year. Thank you, CUSD, for everything you've done for me. I'm super appreciative.
All right. Thank you, Hayden. What are you gonna do after graduation?
Sorry.
What are you gonna do after graduation?
I'm going to go to ASU studying finance.
Finance?
Yeah.
All right. I think Mr. Lors has something that might come in handy one day if you're doing all that. All right. Thanks for coming and talking to us. Next we have Selena Fa from Perry High School.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and Superintendent Narducci. I am the student body president at Perry High School, and I'm honored to be speaking here tonight one last time. Since we last met, Perry has been filled with many activities. To begin, Elia Carnahan has spent 9 months working on her capstone project, she painted this mural that represents Perry's motto, pride, purpose, and progress. Perry Chamber Orchestra earned a superior with distinction rating at the Marcos de Neza Orchestra Festival in April. Perry Chamber Orchestra's first chair violinist, Charlotte Ye, made it into the Arizona All-State Orchestra and earned 6th chair first violinist, which means the 6th best violinist in the entire state. The Perry Early Childhood Education Chapter competed in the 2023 FCCLA State Leadership Conference. The competition was held in Tucson at the awards at the Westin La Paloma from Monday, March 27th to Wednesday, March 29th. A few awards that students brought back were first place Impromptu Speaking Level 3, second place Speak FCS Level 3, third place Art of Storytelling Level 3, and many more. Just this past week, the Perry Dance Program held the annual Spring Dance Concert. This concert highlights the seniors' last dance. The night was filled with tears and beautiful choreography that filled the stage. Just this past week, the Perry Theater went to NAU Theater Days and competed in the monologue competition, and they came back with a sweep of first, second, and third place. Moving on to fundraising opportunities that were on campus. First, Puma Pals had a fundraiser night at Texas Roadhouse where families ate dinner to raise over $400 that was then donated back to the organization. For Perry Sports Medicine Club, Dignity Health hosted an event where students could come get their yearly physical, and the money raised went back to our sports med program. They raised $1,800 that will provide equipment for the next year. In February, Perry's Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society invited an immigrant from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mr. Enoch Neo. He told the personal trials of armed militias terrorizing his hometown. Rho Kappa spent a week raising money to send to the Banya Mulenge children to school for the first time in 5 years. They were able to raise $2,000 that will send 12 children to school for an entire year starting this month. Moving on to athletic news, softball finished the regular season ranked 4th. They are currently still in the state playoffs and will be in the state semifinals. Boys tennis finished the regular season ranked 7th and made it to the state quarterfinals. Girls tennis finished the regular season ranked 11th and made it to the state quarterfinals. All four of our doubles and singles players made it to the second round state, which is the first time in school history that this has happened. Boys and girls track just finished the state Division I championship. Sam Ford was state champion in the 400 and state runner-up in the 200. Larissa Blanchard was state runner-up in the 100 hurdles and third in the long jump. Sarah Jones was third in the 1600 and sixth in the 3200. The girls 4x800 of Alex Pagel, Bellish Gallard, London Lavelle, and Sarah Jones was third. Nathan Jacobson placed fifth in the pole vault. And the All-Division State Championship is this weekend, and these athletes will also be competing in. Unified Basketball just finished their regular season game undefeated. Perry will be hosting the Unified Basketball Tournament on Tuesday, May 16th, starting at 9 a.m., and you guys are all invited to attend. Dylan Hagen is a finalist for the AIA Unified Player of the Year Award, and we will find out the final results later this month. Boys volleyball finished their regular season ranked 2nd, and they just recently won against Shadow Ridge in the quarterfinals, which allows them to advance to the semifinals this Thursday. We also had 2 basketball athletes make history. Camille Pierre and Koa Pete were both named the Gatorade Player of the Year. This was the first time that an Arizona school had a both boy and girl Gatorade Player of the Year. As you may know, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Perry Stugo has been working hard on many gifts that will be sent out to teachers. There are gifts like a Perry staff t-shirt, many chances to win a raffle, a gift bag with mints, and a free ticket to a comedy show. And today we held our annual teacher luncheon where Mr. Ames and Mr. Bauer grilled burger patties and hot dogs for the teachers and staff on campus. There are also drinks, snacks, and desserts provided. In the beginning of April, as soon as we got back from spring break, students dressed up for Spirit Days, with Tuesday being Denim Day, Wednesday being Dress as a Holiday, Thursday as Jersey Jazz, and Friday being Neon Day, and on that Friday, we had our neon-themed assembly. On Saturday, we had a La La Land-themed dance at the events on Jackson. The venue was decorated to the theme for a full night of dancing. This Friday, the seniors have planned for our annual senior sunset on the football field. We are beginning with the night with watching the sunset, and the rest of the night will be filled with inflatables and water wars. Food will also be sold by the pizza butcher and dessert from the 10th Island Shaved Ice. Recently, students are going through a new pilot project aimed to educate teens on how to help their peers during a mental health crisis. The pilot project was done with 800 students at Perry High School in smaller sessions. Students learned how to spot the signs of mental health struggles in their friends, learn how to talk to them about it, and know when they need to talk to an adult. ABC News covered this story in more detail. As this year concludes, the class of 2023 is leaving behind a senior gift, which will be put in over the summer. I don't have a picture of it, but on campus there will be big letters that spell out Puma Nation. And on May 24th, Perry will be celebrating 750 senior students at the Desert Financial Arena at 7:30 p.m. And to end this presentation, a little bit about my future plans. I will be attending Northern Arizona University to major in psychological sciences with a minor in disability studies. I would also like to take this time to thank the board for the opportunities you guys have given me to become a leader and as well as representing Perry here every quarter. And lastly, thank you for introducing me to 5 amazing friends that I have built memories with to always look back on. Although my time has ended, I would like to take this time here to introduce the next student body president, Austin Klaus, who is here tonight. I know he will do great things and represent Perry High School to his greatest strengths. And that's it.
Oh, thank you very much, Selena. So you're going to be a psychologist?
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Serrano has something that you could put on your desk one day, and you can think about us and your time here.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Next, we have our current events by our superintendent, Mr. Narducci.
Thank you, Mr. Olive, and for all of our students, it's been a pleasure working with you guys this year, and I know you're going to be successes and come back and visit, right? Okay? We'll have to be training those new guys coming in next year. Since this is the last report while school is in session, we have much to celebrate. Congratulations to Cameron Bautista from Basha High School and Carol Chen from Hamilton High School, who have won the prestigious Flynn Scholarship. These CUSD students are 2 of 20 Arizona High School seniors awarded the 2023 Flynn Scholarship, a merit-based award that will provide each of them a full ride to one of Arizona's public universities. Carol will be attending the University of Arizona, and Cameron will be attending Arizona State University, so it looks like we split that one. With the goal of obtaining a degree in political science and mathematics. Chandler Unified was well represented throughout the entire Flynn Scholarship process. We had 12 CUSD students who were nominated and named Flynn semifinalists earlier this year. Today, Chandler High held a very special ceremony for the students who were the first Black students to fully integrate into the school in 1949. School segregation wasn't outlawed in Arizona until 1953. The following year, the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case Brown versus Board of Education would pave the way for schools across America to end segregation. The students included Willie and his sister, Joella Arbuckle, and Robert and his sister, Artie Mae Turner, of whom Willie Arbuckle and Robert Turner became the first Black students to graduate from CHS in 1951. And Willie, I met with Willie, and Willie was there this morning, Mr. Arbuckle, and it was just a pleasure to hear him speak and meet him. In addition, the families that you'll know, our Woods families, Payne, Foley, and Jackson families, were also early pioneers of Chandler and attended Chandler High School during this time. It was such an honor to share with our current students in Chandler High School community how their school has made history both locally and nationally. A big thank you to Mr. Sean Mitchell, the assistant principal there, and Mr. Michael Franklin, our principal at Chandler, along with the staff at the Chandler City Museum for assisting with this honor at Chandler High School this morning. And the gym was packed, so it was a great celebration. This weekend, several big championship games will be played. We have teams hopeful of a title in baseball with Basha and Castile and Hamilton in the running, softball with Basha and Perry in the running, Boys volleyball, Castile and Perry in the running. And actually those in the running, track and field, will be crowning state champions this weekend at Mesa Community College as well. We already have an early championship reported as Castile beat Hamilton 17-10 to win the girls' flag football state championship under the coaching of Ray Black. In about 3 months or so, these teams will be back at it to participate in the first ever AIA sanctioned season for girls flag football. So we're really proud of that. And also Sean Rustad, our athletic director's work with getting that to happen. Another first to celebrate with you, our first ever state championship title in the AIA esports competition, which you already heard it break the news first earlier. Hamilton High School captured the state title, winning the Super Smash Brothers and League of Legends tournament. The Hamilton High esports program is sponsored by language arts teacher Michael Oy, and congratulations to our students and coach. And this was an amazing success, and we look forward to expanding this for all students. The Chandler Education Foundation has awarded more than $172,000 in graduating seniors this year. Scholarship breakfasts catered by school culinary classes provided the chance for donors to meet their recipients and their families. In addition to donor scholarships, the foundation funds impact scholarships through the annual Winner's Choice car and cash raffle. This year, $75,000 in impact scholarships were awarded to students who demonstrated an impact on their community and a commitment to academics, attendance, and community service. Thank you, Chandler Education Foundation, for being our support, our 501c3 support for our students. I want to congratulate, and you heard this first by our students, Camille Pierre and Koa Pete of Perry High School for being named Gatorade Players of the Year for girls and boys basketball. This is one of the biggest national awards a student athlete can receive, and this is the first time in Arizona that a high school received both the girls and the boys basketball Gatorade titles in the same year, so they did make history over at Perry. I'm pleased to report that our own Colleen Flannery, Chief Technology Officer, was nominated and became a finalist in the Enterprise category of the 2023 Orby Awards. This award recognizes the best of the best at the executive and chief level of information technology. Under Colleen's leadership, technology and systems within Chandler Unified have been transformed to better serve our students and staff. Thank you, Colleen, for all you have done and continue to do to keep CUSD future focused. Last week, Galveston celebrated its 60th year anniversary. We'd like you to check out this fun video made by our communications team.
Broccoli ketchup. Today's a great day. We are celebrating a few things. We're celebrating our 60th anniversary. Our school opened up in 62-63, and here we are, 22-23 school year, and we're going strong, and we decided, you know what, let's take a break, let's stop, let's be grateful for what we have and what we are as a school and how much pride we have in it, and have a birthday party. So after our fun assembly this morning, we had some birthday party activities planned for our backyard. And the other thing that we're celebrating is the fact that we are getting a brand new school here at Galveston Elementary School. Construction starts this summer. We can't wait to move in. Our community, our students are going to have an awesome new Galveston Elementary School.
They had lots of fun, as you can see, and Tony Alcala, the principal, he just gets involved all the time, which is fantastic. It's the way principals should be at schools, especially elementary. And this hot off the press, and our own Dr. Craig Gilbert was just notified yesterday that he is the Chamber of Commerce's Chandler Unified School District Administrator of the Year. So we want to congratulate you too, Craig, for all of the work you've done in Chandler and for the big celebration and being recognized as Administrator of the Year. So congratulations to you. And last but certainly not least, this week we are celebrating our educators and nurses. Today is School Nurse Day, and this week is Educator Appreciation Week. It is no secret that the past few years have been challenging for both groups. Yet our staff, our nurses, our health assistants come to school every day for our students, and it shows. The difference you make is seen and felt across the district, and we thank you for everything you do. Governing board, members of the public, administrators, My ask of you is when you see a CUSD educator, nurse, or health assistant, please take a moment to personally thank them. Those words really do go a long way, especially after the last 3 years. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. So now we go to our presentation for today from Dr. Salou.
Governing board members, the members of the cabinet, our families, our guests. Tonight, we welcome you to AAPI celebration as we honored AAPI history. For AAPI history is American history. And tonight we have our MC here, who is going to take over, Mr. Cameron Batiste. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. So you may be wondering what you just saw back there. That was the lion dance, which originates back from China around 5,000 years ago. Performers would wear the whole entire outfit, mimicking lions' movements, and that would actually bring good luck and fortune to the audience. So good luck and fortune to everybody here. Here now to read the proclamation is Kevin Chor from ACP High School.
A proclamation of the Chandler Unified School District of the City of Chandler, Arizona, proclaiming the month of May 1st to May 31st as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. During Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, our nation recognizes the innumerable contributions, vibrant cultures, and rich heritage of Asian Americans Pacific Islanders. As some of the fastest growing racial and ethnic groups in the nation, AAPI communities represent a multitude of ethnicities, languages, and experiences that enrich America and strengthen our union. AAPIs have long played an essential role in writing the American story. From serving our country in uniform, advocating for civil rights, starting new businesses, winning Olympic medals, and pioneering science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the contributions of the AAPI community touch the lives of Americans every day. AAPIs serve with distinction at the highest levels of federal, state, and local government. Whereas the Chandler Unified School District can count among its past and present members many Asian American Pacific Islanders, leaders, administrators, educators, and student pioneers with city, state, and national historical prominence. Whereas the vision of the Chandler Unified School District is an environment where our diverse population is a strength and a spurt of equity, collaboration, and response permeates our community. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Shore, student in the Chandler Unified School District, do hereby proclaim the month of May 1st to May 31st, 2023, as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and urge all Chandler and Arizona residents to celebrate the rich history, culture, and contributions of those of AAPI descent.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And I also want to give a big thanks to Frankie Dow and his mentor, Ty. He's a fourth grader from Anderson Elementary School, and he did phenomenally today. So let's give them a big round of applause. On May 7th, 1843, 14-year-old Manjiro arrived in the United States after being caught in a violent storm, displacing him hundreds of miles from his hometown, Japan. After finding shelter in Massachusetts, Manjiro was widely regarded as the first Japanese immigrant to the U.S., also becoming the first U.S. ambassador to Japan. Years later, on May 10th, 1869, 154 years ago today, the last spike was nailed into the rails of the Transcontinental Railroad, marking its completion after 7 years of labor. The majority of workers along the railroad lines were Chinese immigrants who came to the United States during the gold rush, chasing their dreams for a better future. May represents an important month in Asian American and Pacific Islander history, symbolizing a culmination of the accomplishments and achievements of Asian Americans through time. From advancements in art, literature, culture, and music, discoveries in science, technology, and mathematics, Asian Americans have been at the forefront of innovation and ingenuity, leaving an irreplaceable mark on the American legacy. And in 1992, President H.W. Bush nationally recognized May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, solidifying the importance of AAPI culture within American culture. However, we must also recognize the struggles that led us here. During the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, Chinese workers faced abuse, harassment, discrimination, and even violence from other U.S. citizens. The Supreme Court case Korematsu v. United States permitted racial discrimination against Japanese citizens during World War II, allowing the creation of Japanese internment camps. And after the proliferation of COVID-19, the AAPI community experienced an increase in xenophobia and racism as hateful rhetoric spread, blaming Asian Americans for the pandemic. Today, we must condemn this hateful behavior and counter it with education. Education about the power of AAPI culture, education about the struggles faced by the AAPI community, and education about AAPI history to its full extent. This is the importance of AAPI Heritage Month. Not only must we recognize the beauty and resilience of Asian culture, but we must also teach about the beauty and resilience of Asian culture. After all, education leads to understanding and acceptance. The theme for AAPI Heritage Month 2023 is Advancing Leaders Through Opportunity. Today, we recognize the countless Asian American leaders within the city of Chandler and the state of Arizona, and we thank them for their dedication to public service. Remember, Asian American history is American history. Here to introduce notable AAPI seniors in CUSD is my good friend and fellow Flynn Scholar, Carol Chen from Hamilton High School.
First up is Kevin Chor. He's a senior from ACP, and he's on the AIA team chess state champion, and then he is also an individual chess state champion, National Merit finalist, AIA Scholar Activity of the Year award finalist, all CUSD boys golf first team, volunteer chess tournament director, volunteer golf coach, a National Community Service Merit Award, and he will major in data science at UC Berkeley this fall. And then our MC for tonight, Cameron Bautista. He's a senior at Basha High School, and for the past 4 years, he has been involved in various clubs and extracurricular activities, from lead drum major in the Basha Bear Regiment marching band to the president of the Asian Culture Ethics Club. Cameron is a third-degree black belt and instructor in Taekwondo, and worked on the Gilbert Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. He is also a 2023 Flynn Scholarship awardee and also a National Merit finalist. He is heading to the Barrett Honors College at ASU in the fall.
And of course, we have to recognize Carol, who's involved with many clubs at school, including being president of Hamilton Science Olympiad, UNICEF, and crochet clubs. She's an alumna of the Keys Research Internship and does research with other university laboratories year-round. She's planning to study neuroscience on the pre-medical track as a 2023 Flynn Scholar and National Merit finalist. She will be going to the University of Arizona in the fall.
Waka Yamamoto from Hamilton High School. She moved to the U.S. from Japan 2 years ago and has been learning both English and Mandarin at the same time. She's a captain for Hamilton Color Guard and Winter Guard, and she'll be attending ASU in the fall and major in education and join the ASU marching band as Color Guard. And then there's Tiara Furukawa from Castile High School, and she's in academic decathlon for 5 years. She became mentor for the junior high school group and president for 2 consecutive years. Then she's a Castile PIAA member for 2 years, and she put together performances at assemblies, and also got the seal by literacy in Japanese, and is an impact scholar for this year. And then we have Lillian Tai from Chandler High School. She is organized, diligent, and an exemplary student. She has always had her work done ahead of assignments, and she is always prepared because she has practiced everything. She is kind in her communication and is helpful to everyone in class, and she's gifted at explaining complex mathematics and helps the class break down crazy problems into manageable chunks. Her time management is amazing, and what impresses teachers most about her is her eagerness to try everything, like the crazy new problem to the 7-part AP question. She wants to learn and is open to new knowledge in every subject, and she's an active class member, and she asks probing questions. She's the type of student that all teachers want to have in her class, and she is a joy to have in class.
Up next, to honor CUSD administrators, we have Harini Arun from ACP Middle School.
To begin, we will be talking about Miss Manjula Reddy. She's the principal of Arizona College Prep Middle School. She has spent 21 years in education and 2 years in the Chandler Unified School District. Moving on to Miss Shirley Matthew. She's the principal. She is principal at Robert J. C. Rice Elementary. She started working in the Chandler Unified School District in 1995, and she's completing 28 years serving in CUSD. Next, we have Miss Charina DeCaro. She's the Dean of Students at Basha High School and Accelerated Middle School. She has spent 23 years in education and 17 years in the Chandler Unified School District. Last but not least, we have Dr. Thoy Padilla. She is a former program director at Elite Performance Academy and the former principal at Rudy Bologna Elementary School. She works in district special projects, and she has spent 20 years in CUSD.
And then finally, here to recognize API CUSD teachers and staff, we have Erin Choi from ACP Middle School.
We celebrate all Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander teachers and staff in CUSD. We thank you for serving all students each and every day. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for allowing us to be here and present in front of you guys tonight. Remember, the theme for API Heritage Month this year is advancing leaders through opportunity. So we must remember our commitment to elevate API voices and encourage them to join the community and push them forward and elevate their voices. Thank you so much. It has been such an honor. Thank you.
All right, that was great. Thank you very much, guys. We'll give these folks a moment to get out of here. So our next order of business is with Heather. She's going to give us a public hearing presentation on the revised 2022-2023 budget.
Good evening, Mr. President and board members of the board. Later on tonight, you will be asked to approve the last revision of the fiscal year 2022-2023 expenditure budget. This hearing of budget expenditure revision number 2 for fiscal year 2022-2023 explains the latest changes from budget revision number 1, which you approved in December of 2022. This will be the 4th and last time you will see the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. As you recall, you approved the proposed budget back in June of 2022, adopted the budget back in July of 2022, and approved the revised budget in December of 2022. You are now finalizing the budget before May 15, 2023 to meet the statutory requirements for fiscal year 2022-2023. Tonight we are going to begin with this PowerPoint presentation. of the fiscal year 2022-2023 revised budget. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the overall decreases in revenue control limit, which include the loss in average daily membership, as well as a gain in Group B weight. We're also going to review the overall impact to M&O and capital budget. We're going to take a look at the federal stimulus update, including finalized federal funds for ESSER 1, ESSER 2, Enrollment Stability Grant, and DEMA. And then we're going to also look at the in-progress ESSER 3, Education Plus Up Grant, 100th Day in-Person Grant, and Arizona On Track Grant. Lastly, we're going to outline the changes from Revision 1 to Revision 2, including maintenance and operations, federal and state grants, and other funds. So to begin, in our revenue control limit, we had an overall revenue loss. Back in December 14th, 2022, the board approved in revision number 1, ADM totaling $41,945. In our current proposed revision number 2, we are showing and reporting average daily membership of 41,905.2341, which is a total ADM loss of 39.7659, which equates to $235,026. In addition to that, under our revenue control limit, we have a revenue gain due to Group B weight of $222,913, which is mostly comprised of our English language learners being having an increase, and as well as our free and reduced price lunch having an increase. The sum of the revenue loss due to ADM and the Group B weight gain is an overall total revenue loss of $12,113. After that, after we look at our revenue control limit, we take that and we look at our overall maintenance and operation budget increase or decrease. We currently have a total decrease of $85,056, which is made up of, once again, the decrease in our RCL of $12,113. And then we also have a decrease in Prop 123 funding of $72,943. The Prop 123 funding is based off of our weighted count. And so because we had a decrease in our total ADM, we also have a small decrease in our Prop 123 funding. In our capital budget limit, there was no change from our revision 1. For our federal stimulus update, the total amount that we reported as finalized federal funding was equated to $31,265,157, which comprised of ESSER 1, ESSER 2, Enrollment Stability Grant, and our DEMA, which is the Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, which is mostly related to PPE. Currently in progress, we have a reported $30,939,277, which is comprised of the remainder of ESSER 3. You could see here that it shows total that we received of $30,661,511. The amount remaining that we have to carry into for the rest of this year and next year is $22,500,651. We also have the Education Plus Up grant, as well as the 100th Day in-Person reimbursement grant. Both of these grants were issued. The EPU grant was issued for $11,104,833, and the 100th Day was granted in the amount of $5,561,458. Both of these grants back in February of this year, we received notification from the state saying that due to court appeal, both of these grants, which were supposed to end at June 30th, were cut short, and the grant actually ended January 1st of 2023. So the expenditures we had allocated and indicated in our grant to occur from January 1st through June 30th, we actually applied for a new grant to try to receive those additional funding sources through a new grant. We're still waiting on that application. So the amount that was remaining for this year for the Education Plus Up grant was $5,374,823. What was ineligible was the $2,644,045. That's what was put into a new grant for that we're still waiting on approval for. And then you could see in the 100-day grant, we had $2,571,380 that we had remaining for this year. $334,650 is applied in a new grant. So those portions will hopefully be awarded. Our Arizona On Track budget, that was comprised of last year's summer enrichment and summer recovery programs. We had a total grant approval of $3,215,000. The amount remaining in this fiscal year, 22-23, was $492,423. Next, I'm going to outline the changes from the revision 1 to the revision 2, including maintenance and operations, which showed a overall decrease, federal and state grants, which showed an overall increase, and then other funds, which showed an overall increase. So in revision 1 to revision 2 for maintenance and operations, most of the attributable changes included increased costs with ESI for our substitute services, the prepayment of health insurance and operations/general liability insurance, increase in behavioral health services, including the Hope Institute and Lighthouse Well Health, increase in custodial building supplies, an increase in transportation costs related to vehicle repairs and supplies, as well as an increase in student transportation related to costs for field trips. Some of the impacts for revising the budget related to federal state grants were due to the COVID impact, including the update to all entitlement grants to align to objectives and COVID impact, updating E-rate, college credit, exam incentives, and result-based funding to reflect current year funding, federal stimulus budget and expenditures to align with grant application and needs. Lastly, revisions to the budget expenditures also included in other funds, increases to community ed, auxiliary, indirect, CTE, debt service, student activities, and internal service fund, while there were decreases in food service, extracurricular activities, and fingerprint. In summary, average daily membership, ADM, has decreased by 393 compared to fiscal year 21-22. Some of the reasons why the ADM has decreased is loss of students, which equate to about 1% of our overall student population. We also have a decline in birth rates. CUSD happens to be landlocked, competition with charter schools, and school voucher expansion. And then cost of home for young family in this community is quite expensive. Federal stimulus money has tremendously helped to offset ADM loss and COVID-related expenditures to balance our budget. We've also aligned budgets in all other funds more accurately to reflect year-to-date expenditures. The annual financial report for fiscal year 2022-2023 will be presented in September of 2023. And we've already begun fiscal year 2023-2024 back in January 2022. The state just finalized the budget today, and with that, budget proposal will be presented in June of 2023 for fiscal year 2023-2024. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
All right. Thank you very much. I do have one question. The Education Plus Up grants, how sure a thing is it that those are going to get granted?
The application was entered. We're still waiting from the state to find out whether or not it is a competitive grant at this point. So as soon as we know, we will definitely update the board.
Okay. So
there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee and no, yeah.
No.
I didn't know if it was a de rigueur kind of thing that they just do it, or if it's.
It was one of those things where we were approved for the 100-day and the Education Plus Up grant both. We received packages that said that we had grant approval, and then because the state said that there were stipulations within both grants that were not according to the state, we unfortunately had to take the portion of January through June expenditures that we had intended to be from those 2 grants, and they were denied, and we went and applied for a new grant.
Is there still money in those pots for grants like that?
Everything that, yes, there was. So the new grant that they had made available to us included now the entire state to be able to put in an application for it. For recipients that received the 100-day and the Education Plus Up grant, they did have funds available for those districts, so that way they can try and reapply for the funds that they hadn't received. And then any other districts that hadn't prior been able to apply for the 100-day or the Education Plus Up, they were able to now put in an application for those grants.
All right, thank you. Joel, do you have any questions?
Just really, very well done, Heather. You did well.
Thank you.
All right. Barb, did you have any questions for Heather?
Yes, I did. First off, Heather, you did a great job. Thank you very much. And I guess the question that I have is, does the change in the revenue control limit due to our decreased student enrollment have an impact on the amount of money that we receive for the override?
It does. So the override for 22-23 is locked in. So that's locked in when we pass our when we do our proposed budget. But the decrease in ADM will actually impact our override for next year's fundings because we have less ADM, and so the less amount for the ADM that we're able to put in is the lower amount we receive for our override.
Okay, so basically override is current year funding projected, but actual year, next year, it is decreased.
Yeah, we use our weighted count for the override, and we project what that weighted count's going to be for the year. We try to overestimate what it's going to be to try and lock in the override at an amount larger than, or at least hopefully what we believe our ADM is going to be. Unfortunately, like I said, once the proposed budget and adopted budget happens, and the taxpayers pay on what was put in those proposed budgets, so we cannot change it after that fact.
And what do we believe that will be then, roughly dollar amount for loss of M&O revenue for next year?
It's hard to, well, okay, so if our budget, or if our override is about $40 million and we're going to lose about 1% in ADM, I would gather it's going to cost about $4 million.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Barb.
That's it.
Kurt, Patty, do you guys have anything? Okay, thank you. All right. Nobody has any other questions. Thank you very much. That was good. Next, we have citizens' comments. I need to read a short statement before we do this. This is the time for the public to comment. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 36-431.01H, at the conclusion of the open call to public, individual members of the public body may respond to criticisms made by those who have addressed the public body, may ask staff to review a matter, and may ask that the matter be put on a future agenda. However, members of the public body shall not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. Tonight we will have 2 minutes each. Ms. Ingersoll, could you start us off?
The first comment is from Ms. Jennifer Alvey on transparency.
We believe this is essential to reestablish trust as we continue to bring our children to the district. Tonight, I respectfully request that our board members vote to support proposals that encourage greater public oversight from the CUSD board, since each of you acts as we parents' elected representatives through our votes for you. Tonight, I'm also publicly asking for a response to the FOIA request, which I delivered and emailed to CUSD administrators and board, regarding the decision-making and accountability process for the March 27th teacher in-service meeting. The FOIA was delivered by hand on March 31st to district offices. Email follow-ups were sent on April 2nd and April 4th, which makes more than 30 days with no communication from CUSD regarding this FOIA request. As I shared with this board at the last meeting, having worked in the public sector myself, I don't think it too much to expect timely responses to reasonable questions we parents have about the work product produced by the school district that our taxes fund, which teach our children and employ our teachers. I'd like to think we're all united in the belief that those who make decisions for our school district should be able to be accountable to the public for the decisions they make, and that they can provide
30
understanding why the decisions they've made are expected to have the best results for both students and CUSD staff. I therefore request I either receive CUSD's response to my FOIA or at the minimum notification of when that FOIA response may be expected within a short time. Thank you for the attention to these issues of greater transparency and a response to my request. I appreciate your time and the service that you all provide to our area.
Next comment is from Brett Wingate, Transparency.
Good evening. My name is Brett Wingate. I'm a resident here in Chandler. Had my kids go to elementary school here in Chandler, but I was a charter school parent for the last 6 years of my children's K through 12 education. It struck me that you had 393 students choose an alternative. And I think that that's important for you guys to understand, because what we have here is a partnership. And it's a partnership between the parents and the board and the administration. And it begins with the Parental Bill of Rights. All parents' rights are reserved to the parent of the minor child without obstruction or interference from this state, any political subdivision, or any other governmental entity in any institution. This includes the right to direct the education of the minor child, the right to access and review all records relating to the minor child, the right to direct the upbringing of the minor child, the right to direct the moral and religious training of the minor child, the right to make healthcare decisions. In addition, under ARS 15113, a parent of a student in a public education institution has the right to review learning materials and activities in advance. It requires that the parent
30 seconds.
have a consent, and that consent has to be written. It has to be one that they have full knowledge. And what you're being asked to do is provide easier access so that your parents believe that you are in a partnership with them. And I think that's part of the 393, that is $3 million that you aren't getting this year because people didn't feel that they...
Time has expired.
The next comment is from Katie McPherson, supporting police and children.
President Olive, members of the board, thanks so much for hearing my comments tonight. I'm going to echo the partnership comments and would like to read a statement from the Queen Creek Police Department. I was able to pinpoint that Officer Lyons was in the meeting with staff on the 11th. However, they did not disclose specific details of the allegations to include any names. A general statement of complaint being received from a student against a teacher was mentioned and nothing else. Officer Lyons indicated it was not out of character for this to happen. The facts of the investigation showed that Officer Lyons did not know the allegations between teacher and students. Any indications that Officer Lyons knew the allegations and failed to file a report are untrue and did not occur. We cannot throw our police under the bus. We are living in very dangerous times. And as a mother of 4 students at Castile High School, I am counting on the police to be able to do their job. And that is to do investigations in tandem with administration who are telling the truth. There are people in this room who knew the truth and covered up the truth. I'm tired of the lies. Our kids are being abused. The power in this room is being used against our children. There are lies being told to our children. Kids are being told, come forward, to trusted adults to report, and this is what they get, is that the police knew and did nothing about it. No, the police didn't know, because the people in this room didn't tell the police. I will not have it in our community. I work with the police on a daily basis. I love this community. I talk to parents all the time, and I uphold your dignity. I stop them from emailing you and calling you. I am demanding and expecting that my children, as well as the children that attend Castile and district-wide, have their dignity upheld too. There are people in this room that hired a man.
Time has expired. The next speaker is Lisa Calderon on TAW.
Good evening, President Olive, Superintendent, and board members and community members. I am going to recycle the statement that I used for the State Board of Education earlier this month. I'm here to discuss my concerns. I am Lisa Calderon. I'm a proud public school parent. I have 3 daughters currently attending public schools here in Chandler. I have been very involved in their education. I love public schools because they create a welcoming environment, learning environment taught by professional educators. When talking at the State Board of Education, I discussed my concerns about accountability on the ESA voucher program, and today our legislature voted without putting a cap on those. We know that the revenues will be diminished for that, and I ask you to please hold our kids in your, please have our kids in your best interest. I know I've been to these school board meetings, and I know that there are a lot of transparency, and I just wish that we continue that when we are looking at a superintendent ongoing. Please make us involved in that. We don't want to backdoor
30
it.
seconds.
We would love to be part of that. And lastly, I want to talk about teacher appreciation. Thank you to the educators, Conley Elementary, Bogle Junior High, Hamilton High School. Those are where my kids attended. But I appreciate every single educator out in the room. Support staff, admin, thank you. I know this is trying times. This parent supports you. And we will continue to fight because our children deserve better. Thank you.
The next speaker is Stephanie Martinez, ASBA Priorities.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Martinez. I'm a parent of 2 elementary students in this district. First and foremost, I want to thank our wonderful educators for continuing to support and prepare our future generation while navigating challenging circumstances. We see you and we appreciate you. I'm here tonight to ask the board to reconsider the political agenda priorities put forth for ASBA consideration. Since my children have started school, our district has experienced multiple student deaths by suicide, a mass disabling event in the form of a global pandemic, enacted legislation tying the hands of our educators in the name of parental rights, racist incidents reported within our halls, anti-Semitic speech, shared from this podium right here, and most recently, reports of sexual assault against our students while at school. We have multiple student groups who are stepping up to fill the space that us adults have failed to step into. CUSD's Counseling and Social Services team provided an update on February 8th, and the theme from that meeting was we're doing a lot, but we need to do more. We say mental health is important, yet it's not one of our top 7 priorities that we're asking ASBA to push forward. The priorities outlined for consideration tonight have appeared in ASBA's priorities for years, and I see mental health services are included. I ask you to use your power as the 2nd largest district in our state to elevate the message that mental well-being is not just a priority, but a top priority. Please consider modifying the CUSD priorities put forward for ASBA's political agenda. Thanks.
The next speaker is Zania, Mental Health.
Good evening. Thank you and board and for the opportunity to address the mental health crisis affecting our community. I am Zaina Przanowski. I'm a parent of 2 CSD students and a current Arizona certified teacher. And for Teacher Appreciation Week, I do feel appreciated at my school, and I just want to give a shout out, especially to Danae Gleason, helping my daughter graduate this year as a senior at Chandler Online Academy. Also my son, he is a junior at Perry. In the last few weeks, I've watched the student body presidents detail the accolades of each high school. This portrayed an unfortunate reality which students face, that because of suicide, some of their classmates will not make it to their senior year. I'm here specifically to remember Zion Anderson, who would have graduated this May. He was a Perry High School sophomore when he lost his battle with mental illness. He was one of the 393 people that are not here with his brother. That wasn't a choice. He was also a neighbor and a friend of my children. The refusal to acknowledge the victims of suicide fuels the stigma which magnifies the mental health crisis. I'm just considering adopting a collective grief response for students instead of them meeting at a park. By doing this, we can help tackle the stigma attached to the suicide. It's not a silent event. Consider
30
also
seconds.
flagging any call from the attendants if a family has experienced a death in the family, in their own family. Reach out to offer grief counseling to the families after hearing that there is a death in the family. So thank you for listening, and if there is anyone suffering any mental illness, the Suicide Crisis Lifeline is 988. Thank you.
The next speaker is Dawn Shim, LGBTQ students.
Hi, my name is Dawn Shim. I use they, she pronouns. I'm with the student group Support Equality Arizona Schools. I'm a high schooler at Hamilton High School. I've been at this board since April, trying to tell you to do the same. It's pretty much one goal. It's affirm our LGBTQ students and take all necessary action to protect them because they're vulnerable to mental health crises. I'm telling you that, well, first of all, it's been over a year since I've been here and literally nothing has happened. I've and my peers have also sent countless emails to staff, admin in this very school board, and we have never gotten replies. The times that we did get replies, it was something along the lines of, we cannot provide you that information, period. That was pretty frustrating because I'm pretty sure you could have provided me that information. Beyond that, multiple times the board has promised to email me or my peers and send a response. We have never got a response despite leaving them our email address. We have left you our email address countless times. Now, they don't even tell us that they're going to provide us a response at all. It just kind of feels like they've heard all that we have to say and they've just decided to ignore it. And that is really frustrating because every time we come up here, we tell you these numbers about how students are dying. Like, this is actually happening. There are mental health crises that are not only happening nationally, that are not only happening statewide, they're not only happening in this community, but that are happening right here in this school board. There are kids dying. And I'm really, really frustrated at having to come to this board pretty much every single month and asking you to do something. We are really disappointed by the lack of transparency. First, the renewal of the superintendent contract that I'm pretty sure was supposed to happen in 2024. I don't know if it's happening right now. Two, the fact that the online recordings of board meetings are always up and down, and they're inaccessible. Three, the fact that the issues in consideration in 2024 on your political agenda haven't included any of these sensitive issues that—
Time has expired. The next speaker is Kim Mundis.
Thank you, Mrs. Shim.
Kim Mundis, agenda item.
Two minutes, right? Tonight, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Thank you. Okay. I'm here to call on the board to table the vote on Frank's contract. We need to bring in an outside independent investigator who can conduct a thorough audit of CUSD's policies, procedures, and anything else that could be a factor right now, and how and why we keep failing so many children in such profoundly unforgivable ways. I suspect it's related to the reasons I wouldn't hire him to water my plants. Frank does not possess the skills or the temperament to be the leader that this district demands or deserves. going to jump over to something that might surprise a good number of you and maybe even upset a few. Get over it. As a result of discussions we had following that anti-Semitic rant, Frank revealed to me in writing in an email that he had been unofficially, quote, tracking offenders with respect to people who were attending meetings and or speaking. Remember that? I do. And that they had reason to believe the woman who delivered that address had been enticed to come here by others. Over the month that I spent banging my head against the wall trying to get a single coherent answer from Frank, I was often shocked at what that man will put in writing, just saying. Unfortunately, I can't provide any more details here. My reply filled with questions about this went unanswered. Hence, a quick review of meeting minutes would bring up the very short list of alleged potential suspects. I am just saying. 3 current board members were copied on all of this. They knew about it all along. I all but begged one for help because Frank was so impossible to work with, right down to trying to plagiarize his way out of a lie. That was cute. Another,
30
this
seconds.
afternoon, sent me a grossly inappropriate email after spending a good portion of yesterday sending me unprofessional emails, as well as one that definitely crossed into Creepyville. Nice touch. So, he's not the guy. And the people who are supposed to determine that are doing this. Now is not the time to give this man more protection, less account.
Time has expired.
Thank you. That's the end of our citizens' comments for this week. That brings us along to the consent agenda. Mr. Narducci, do you have anything for consent?
I do. President Hall, members of the board, governing board, I request approval for the consent agenda as presented and as published.
All right, thank you. Could I get a motion on consent?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Then we can vote. All those in favor of the consent agenda as published and presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. That moves us through consent agenda. Next, we get to action items. Now we have fee schedules for the 2023-2024 school year. Could I get a motion, please?
All right, let me just determine how to.
It's a long way.
Mr.
Yeah.
President Olive,
Yes, ma'am.
will we
Yes,
be
ma'am.
having a presentation from someone on this?
Oh, it's under action items. I didn't think there was a presentation. Is there a presentation on this, Dr. Gilbert?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's do the presentation first. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Barb.
Sorry. Mr. President, members of the board, pursuant to ARS 15342, a school district may charge fees for school activities and programs. The board recognizes the need for student fees to fund certain school activities that are not financed by local, state, or federal funds. It also recognizes that some students may not be able to pay these fees. All fees shall contain a provision that allows the fees to be waived in the event of economic hardship to the pupil. No student will be denied an education as a result of inability to pay these supplemental charges. Elementary and secondary course fees and CTE course fees. Elementary, secondary, and CTE course activity changes are highlighted in red, have minimal increased from the previous board-approved fee schedule. Fees that are black are at no change from the previous school year. Fees that are green have decreased from last year. Fee changes to CTE course fees were also minor and were necessary to cover the cost of increased materials, supplies. Prices were due to a new course being added or deleted. Elementary and secondary extracurricular activity fee schedule. There are minor increases to the previous year's schedule, included by yellow highlights. It is also proposed to remove the verbiage from previous year version regarding individual and family maximum amounts, as this is not feasible for site to track. Verbiage to remove has been, struck through. Principals still have the option to do a partial or full fee waiver if there is a financial hardship. Community education. Community education fee changes highlighted in red have increased by approximately 5% from the previous board-approved fee schedule. The child care changes were due to the $2 an hour increase for classified staff. The enrichment and Facility rental charges are more closely aligned with our competitors and/or surrounding districts. Also included in the fee schedule are COGAT, which is gifted and kindergarten readiness test fees. The gifted department currently charges $120 for COGAT testing. This fee covers the proctors needed to administer the test and testing materials. The gifted department is requesting to raise the fee for COGAT testing to $130 due to the increase in the cost to pay proctors, an increase in cost from our vendor for testing materials, and an increase in mailing cost. The assessment department currently charges $130 for the kindergarten readiness test. This fee covers the proctor's need to administer the test and testing materials. The KRT test fee will not be changed. We're recommending approval.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. Does anybody have any questions about the fees as Dr. Gilbert's presented? Yes,
Just
Mr. Arnold.
one quick question. For the fee waiver forms that I understand exist at each of the school sites, are those available just so the public is aware, hard copy in each school office, or how are they accessible?
They're accessible by going through the administration at the site, so it could be the assistant principal or principal. And so what we made sure we did within the course catalog where it talks about fees, that's one of the things in bold, is that if you have an issue with fees of a class, then you go to your administration.
Thank you.
All right, good question. Does anybody else have anything?
I have a question also.
Please go ahead, Barb.
For the COGAT and the kindergarten readiness testing, are those fees for every student that is tested? Because I thought we tested most of our second graders, and I was wondering if that's an additional assessment to them, or is every kindergartner tested with the kindergarten readiness, and do they have to pay a fee for that, or is this just early entrance fees, early entrance testing for kindergartners, and supplemental COGAT testing for gifted students, perhaps that are missed the second grade testing or want to be retested in third grade or fourth grade or whatever?
Member Marsden, this is Dr. Fletcher. A lot of great questions. Let me address KRT kindergarten readiness test first. That is for our early entrance 4-year-olds who are interested in entering school early. So parents pay to have the KRT administered to their student to see if they can start school early. COGAT, the gifted testing, is a slew of different responses. So first, it can be for students who want to start early. It can also be for kinder students whose parents didn't get the opportunity to take the NNAT during kindergarten, because our NNAT is our gifted assessment, is only administered at our title sites in kindergarten. So for K1, those students can test to get into our gifted academies. And then at second grade, you are correct, all second graders are assessed on COGAT, but we do offer COGAT at the higher grades to move those students into the gifted academies if they are eligible.
What is COGAT?
The gifted assessment.
Okay.
Same with
So
NNAT.
So Dr. Fletcher, in most cases then, the testing, if you're in the normal sequence of events, is there is not an extra fee for that. But if you're outside of those specific norms, you may incur a fee.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. So for this item, can I get a motion?
I'll take a shot at it.
All right.
Approval of the CUSD student elementary and secondary fees, as well as the elementary and secondary extracurricular activity fee schedule, the CTE proposed course fees, and the community education fees. Recommend approval.
All right, very good. Could I get a second?
Seconded.
All right, thank you. I think we're ready to vote if we've already had enough discussion. Is there any other discussion? In that case, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of passing this agenda item as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. That item passes as presented. Next, we have interactive flat panel project. Ms. Flannery, would you like to present this?
Mr. President, members of the board, the district is seeking approval to utilize the 1 GPA contract number 22-02PV-04 for technology and audiovisual solutions with an estimated expenditure of $16 million for the interactive flat panel project, which will be completed in 6 phases. Phase 1 was approved at the April 12th, 2023 board meeting. Subsequent phases will be communicated via the board report as they are available. Recommend approval of CCS presentations for the purchase and installation of the interactive flat panel displays for a total of $16 million.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions about the flat panel displays?
Yes, just to clarify from last time, is the $16 million price tag for all 6 phases or just this next phase?
All 6 phases.
Okay. So the first phase, which we already approved, was for how much again? Do you remember?
I think it was 1.6, but I'd have to refer back to.
So essentially, we're going to have this one and 4 more, and roughly the same amount. And this is for every school to have.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just going to move to make a motion.
Okay, no, I have so this 16, it's going to be basically 14.4 plus the 1.6 or so, whatever it was on the first phase. But there's not going to be any other phases after this, are there? Or are there?
Not unless you build another school. So.
Okay, I wasn't making,
no.
The way Kurt stated that, it confused me for a moment. Okay. Joel, Barb, do you guys have any other questions? No.
I do not.
Okay. In that case, could I get a motion on this agenda item, please?
I move to recommend approval of CCS presentation systems for the purchase and installation of the interactive flat panel displays for a total of $16 million.
All right, thank you. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. If there's no further discussion, we can go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the interactive flat panel as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. That carries. Next is our school district annual expenditure budget revision number 2. Heather, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion. So
okay, let's let her. I think Heather's going to present it, right?
She presented already.
Don't I have to read this or read the action item?
Let her go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read that, yeah.
Okay. Mr. President and members of the board, in accordance with Arizona statute ARS 15-905 and 15-910, by May 15th, the board may revise the school district annual expenditure budget after notice has been given and a public meeting has been held. The revision reflects the adjustment for ADM operating and capital budget line item changes to account for actual and encumbered expenses, reflection of new revenue and expenditures in direct relation to federal grants, and the addition of budgeted expenditures for renovations and capital expenditures. Attached is the district annual budget expenditure budget revision number 2 and an explanation of the predominant reasons for the adjustment. We'd like to recommend adoption of the 2022-2023 district annual expenditure budget revision number 2.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion?
I recommend adoption of the 22-23 district annual expenditure budget revision 2.
All right, thank you. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion on the budget revision number 2? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the budget revision number 2 as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. Next, we have proposed increase in breakfast and lunch prices for this coming year. Ms. Howell, thank you.
President Olive, members of the board. Each year, the Food Service Department must evaluate its annual budget to assess the need to increase meal prices. School food authorities depend on 2 sources of revenue to cover costs associated with the national school breakfast and lunch programs: funds collected from paid student meals and federal reimbursement. Prices were increased last year for breakfast and elementary lunch. We continue to see increases in food costs, along with salary raises for this upcoming year. The Food and Nutrition Department is recommending the price increases below for the 23-24 school year. Raise breakfast prices district-wide from $2 to $2.25. Raise elementary lunch price from $3 to $3.25. Raise junior high lunch price from $3.25 to $3.50. Raise high school lunch price from $3.50 to $3.75. We recommend approval of the breakfast and lunch price increases to meet projected food and labor costs for the 23-24 school year.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions on this item?
I do.
Go ahead, Barb.
I know that in years past that the federal programs for lunches required schools to, for districts basically, to charge a certain amount of money for the federal reimbursed lunches, or for people who were not necessarily on the federal reduced lunches. But could you comment on where our our lunch, breakfast, and other meal prices for elementary, junior high, and high school fall within that range? Have we found, because for quite a while we were much lower than what the federally the school lunch program kind of mandated for us to be charging for our lunches. And can you discuss kind of where we are on that? Are we at the level that we need to be for that program?
So I don't have that information with me right now. I have an answer for you, but I don't have it with me right now. Can I follow up with you tomorrow? I have like one minute with me. I'm sorry.
That would be fine, because I know for a while that we were definitely playing catch up, and the plan was like for a 3 to 5 year catch up. And I was wondering if we had caught up to that, because I know with inflation and the cost of food and employee costs, things have gone up, and I didn't know if federally they had kind of raised the bar even further, that we still are trying to play catch up, or whether we have actually gotten there or not. So
we're definitely still playing a little bit of catch up. We only took a little bit of price last year, 25 cents for breakfast, but we were in a position where we thought this was the right decision to take 25 cents across the board for all meals, breakfast and lunch. But I'll send you the details tomorrow, if that's okay.
Okay. And then I do have another follow-up question on that. Is at what point do we find that participation begins to decrease as the prices go up?
Yeah, great question. So I just finished our budget for next year, and we're staying flat with meals next year. So my hope is that we're delivering great food worthy of the price that we're charging for it. It's still a great price for what we're serving at our sites. We're getting ready to reopen our central kitchen here, so we are really working towards delivering great food for our customers, our students. So we're working hard to manage the gray area on that for sure. I think we're in the sweet spot though.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Patty. Do you have something?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure where we're at today with the reduced fee schedule. If previously, I do know that with COVID relief funding, we were able to cover everybody. And then we actually worked in last year into a phase of not having reduced, but having it free. For this next year, what are we thinking? Is there going to be a line for reduced, or will that remain free?
So my understanding with the reduced line switching to free, that happened in January of this past year, January of 2023, and that's 18 months. So the reduced, assuming they have an active application, that's really important. That will be good through the end of next school year, so May of 2024. but that's a good call out. So our families with their free and reduced applications, those are only gonna, if they have an active application right now, that's only gonna be good for the first 30 days of next school year. So we have a big push for families to complete those so they can stay in that either free or reduced status at the beginning of the year. And we push that out pre-K through 12. We push it out with School Messenger. Stephanie and her group just helped us to push something out around that for going into summer, because there's also a PEBT benefit for that. So we're trying to make sure our families that are on free and reduced can qualify for that over the summer as well.
I guess I'm of the opinion the state is contributing money towards the reduced.
They are. The state's making there's a 40-cent difference in that. So when we submit our claim to ADE, we have our federal reimbursement, and then we have that extra 40 cents that we're getting just for those 18 months through May of next school year.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Could I get a motion to go ahead and vote on this budget increase for food prices?
Okay, I believe I'll move. The Food and Nutrition Department is recommending the following price increases. Raise breakfast prices from $2 to $2.25, elementary lunch price from $3 to $3.25, junior high lunch price from $3.25 to $3.50, and high school lunch price from $3.50 to $3.75. Recommend approval of the breakfast and lunch price increases to meet projected costs and labor costs for 2023-24.
All right, thank you, Joel. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. If there's no other discussion, we can go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the budget increase as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. Next item number is 11.05, direction to governing board's attorney. We determined in executive session that one was not needed. Next after that is approved superintendent contract. Could I get a motion, please?
Yes, I would like to move to approve the superintendent employment contract for Franklin R. Narducci effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026.
All right, thank you. Could I get a second?
Second.
I'd like to move to amend that motion.
Okay, what's your motion to amend, Kurt?
I would like to move to change the start date of the contract to July 1st, 2024, with the same termination date of June 30th, 2026. This allows us to finish out the current contract, but then just add 2 years with the same termination date.
I would not like to amend my motion for that, with that I made.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
I think you vote on the amendment first, then vote on the original one.
We can vote on an amendment if you want to, but I think if Barb makes the motion, then she can accept amendments to her motion.
And if your amendment has not been seconded, it cannot be amended to it.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Is there any other discussion? If not, we can go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All abstained.
All right, thank you. The motion carries. Next, we have action item 11.07, revision to policy GCI. Kurt, I think this was one that you wanted to do, right?
Yeah, and before we get to that motion, I just wanted to make sure that the public understood what the policies in the state law are, so they can understand what we're trying to do up here. This is policy KDB, is the public's right to know / freedom of information. The board recognizes the right of the public to information concerning its actions, its policies, and the details of its educational and business operations. The board encourages study, discussion, and active participation by all concerned in the promotion of the best possible program of education in the community. Likewise, in Chapter 4 of the Powers and Duties of Governing Board, the handbook that we were given when we started, it states that Americans believe in local control of education.
Hey, Kurt, I think we have to have a motion on the board before we have discussion, right? Yeah, this is the agenda item.
Well, I guess I'll make the motion to amend policy GCI to add the phrase, all workshops and programs designed for staff development and in-service training that include discussions of social policy or political ideology are to be approved by the governing board in a public forum prior to the presentation to staff. Examples would include racism and race relations, sexuality and sexualization of minors, or political and ideological positions are under debate in the public square.
Okay, well, that's not the agenda item, but that's okay. Would anybody like to second this? Going once, going twice, sold. Next item is 11.08, issue for consideration of the 2024 political agenda. This is the ASBA political agenda. Would anybody like to make a motion on this?
I move the Chandler. I move the Chandler Unified School District's top priorities for ASBA political agenda presented be approved.
All right. Do we have any debate or discussion on ASBA political agenda? Patty?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I came in prepared for this meeting, and I'm having a little, I'm struggling a little with the ASBA published priorities, and I'm looking at the school safety and security, and I think, we've been doing all of this advancement and work. I'm seeing progress with supporting our students' mental health. I just wasn't really clear if we should be adding more specifics related to an increase in school counselors, and being a little more specific than the more general wording that I see under school safety and security. Right now, it does read, support policy that promotes social emotional wellness as a critical component of improving school climate, safety, and learning for all students and staff. I completely agree with that statement, but I feel like I'm not really seeing our call, which we would need funding, we all know, to increase counselors, and our ratio is too low right now. And how do we get there? And that's what we're doing through this advocacy work, I think. So I do feel that it would be helpful and beneficial to all our districts throughout the state if we're able to specify that we're looking for an increase in the school counselor to student ratio.
Okay. If you'd like to make a suggestion to change the motion and replace one of these priorities with a mental health component, you could do that.
Okay. So we are limited on the listing.
ASBA, I think they asked for our top 5 priorities, or our top priorities.
You can come up with another.
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing, and I'm sorry, I missed the heading. We do have, because we have more than 5, but it's listed under additional items for consideration.
Right.
Yes.
So I would move to amend our list and include an 8 for advocating for an increase in school counselors.
I believe that we are only allowed to have 2 additional items for consideration. Is that correct, Donna?
Let me see if I can help. If we could eliminate, in amending your motion, eliminate number 6, allowing the district to build teacher housing, we could replace it with Ms. Serrano's additional item for consideration.
Patty, would that be what you'd want to do?
No, this puts us in a very difficult situation. I am for 6. We all know we have a teacher shortage. We heard it tonight. Our teachers can't afford to live here, and I know this is a priority. So I think let's leave it as is and perhaps I can work with ASBA just to make sure that that school safety section maybe can be expanded through them and not directly through CUSD.
Okay.
Make a comment.
Go ahead.
If we were successful with these, then it provides a lot of additional funding that then becomes available to have a discussion on the counselors.
And so folks in the room and folks listening online know the ASBA request for our priorities, I think it came out a little bit late this year or later than normal. Is that true? We didn't have much time to discuss it because preferably we'd have 2 or 3 meetings to be able to discuss it. And as it worked out, I think we're having a meeting the other day and we were able to get this all done. So these were not the product of having enough time to really have an in-depth discussion with all the board members, I don't think.
And Mr. Olive and members of the board, we have other alphabet clearinghouses that support education that we can also work through those groups to ensure that health and the counseling initiative as well as social worker initiatives also addressed. And I think many of them have it on their top priorities as well. So we'll ensure that as well.
All right. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Do we have a motion on the board?
Yes, I moved it. I moved the motion.
We need to have a second for Joel's motion to approve the ASBA priorities as presented.
I'd like to amend that motion as well to eliminate number 6, which is allowing the district to build teacher housing. I think it's overly expands our mandate on education, and we probably should not be in the residential housing business. I think there are other governmental agencies that should handle that, particularly the City of Chandler or the Maricopa County. But the Chandler School Board and the Chandler School District should not be in the construction business for housing.
So you have a motion, you're just waiting for your second?
I'm waiting for a second, yes.
Mr. Olive, I will second Mr. Worth's motion
Okay.
without any amendment.
Okay.
And if we can have some discussion on number 6, it doesn't mandate us to have to get involved in housing. It is basically up to our district to choose whether we would want to do that. But I know that there are many school districts within the state that would like to partner with various agencies to allow teachers some reduced housing, and they currently do not have that ability, but rural districts do have that ability. And the fact that just for fairness and being able to allow them to do that, I think it's good policy to have an even-handed policy that allows any district within the state to do it rather than select districts.
Yeah, I think districts, it's not that they're getting into it, they're some of them are getting back into it. It's a really old word called a parsonage that they actually use a lot of places around the state. Kurt, Patty, would you guys like to have any more discussion about items 6 and 8 or?
No, I would actually say I'm eager to move forward with the motion as written and to show that we really have a best interest in supporting our teachers and attracting teachers into the district.
Okay. So if there's no other discussion, we have a motion on the table is the same as the motion as presented has been seconded. So in that case, we're ready to take a vote. All those in favor of the ASBA political agenda as presented, please say aye.
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 Abstain.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next, that brings us to our information items, student activity and tax credit reports. It's Heather's night tonight.
Okay. Mr. President and members of the board, student activity, auxiliary operations, and tax credit reports for the months ending July 2022 through April 2023 are provided for your review.
All right, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions about the tax credits and reports?
No.
All right, that brings us around to our CUSD agenda, board agenda roadmap. The next thing we have going on is on June 14th is our next regularly scheduled meeting. That is, we're going to have metrics on our final Journey 2025 and Summer Leadership Institute. Oh, that's the 8th through 10th. That's the Summer Leadership Institute in Flagstaff. We are also having quite a few graduations coming up in the next few weeks. So congratulations to all the parents and students that are entering a new phase of their life. That brings us around to our board member comments. Yes, Joel.
About this.
Yes,
the
Joel,
roadmap.
go ahead.
So I thought we were going to have something on the agenda related to evaluation.
We did, we pulled that because we had to create 2 other meetings last time, so we're going to be putting that back on for you, Joel.
Okay.
Okay. I know,
Yeah,
I know. Dr. Nance talked with you individually, but we'll go ahead and get that
Yeah, I
back
had
on.
a good conversation with her.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. Any other questions on the roadmap? That brings us around to our board member current events. Barb, do you have anything new going on here lately?
Yes, I wanted to let people know that I was asked to be a guest reader at Shumway Elementary, and I basically read books to some of the kindergartners, and Read on Chandler was providing books for the kindergartners to keep as their own, to be given away to them. And each student eventually was going to be getting like 9 books. It was a really, really rewarding experience because there were students that were incredulous that they were going to be able to have books, be given books that they could keep and not have to bring back to school or to the library. And they were so excited, and their hearts were so full, wanting to even get a book that they could give to their baby sister or brother and help them read. We discussed how important reading was during the summer, and we talked about the public library, which, believe it or not, a lot of kindergartners didn't know. There was a public library that they could go to check out books during the summer. So it was a wonderful experience, and I was really glad to be a part of it.
All right, that sounds awesome, Barb. Thank you. Mr. Roars, do you have anything new for us tonight?
Yeah, I was able to attend a military enlistment ceremony at Perry High School about a week ago. And I found it to be a very moving experience. First, they introduced all the Perry High School staff who were veterans, and there's several there that work at the high school. But all in all, we had 10 inductees to the various services, 4 from the Navy, 4 from the Army, one of which is going to West Point as a cadet starting next year. 1 Air Force guy, and one of my favorites, 1 Marine. I did note that almost all of these inductees are from military families whose parents had already served in the military. So I just want to say very, very proud of them, very proud of Perry High School for recognizing them, and I hope we could have these kinds of ceremonies at the other high schools as well, because these kids need to be recognized. Thank you.
That's awesome. Mr. Arnold, do you have anything new? Patty? Oh, sorry. Did you have anything new?
For my comments?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to address, I know Heather mentioned in her presentation tonight, the state budget was approved and we'll have more information coming. But I do want to recognize it's so important. We heard about the loss again of ADM and reiterate the known factors directly affecting our ADM in the district, including school voucher expansion that was mentioned. And we do now know with the budget pass that there is no cap to be expected on these vouchers, and that will inevitably divert our general funding that's already limited in our public schools. This is challenging, but I know that we will meet this challenge best together. And with that said, I want to encourage everyone to please make sure people are registering their kids in CUSD. It's our business. We do a great job. I'm testimony of that. And so making sure that we meet each other together and do the work together to get kids registered here. Obviously, May is a busy month, including Teacher Appreciation Week, AAPI History Month, end of year celebrations, and more. I'm all over the place as a CUSD mom, but I do want to thank Cameron, who did such a wonderful job thoroughly and proudly educating us in his presentation tonight for AAPI History Month. We have many local university graduations this week. I work at ASU, so it's been crazy there. Middle school and junior high promotions are next week, and the following week are our high school graduations. I am not with my family tonight, but I want to recognize CUSD alum Joseph Maddox, who walked across ASU's graduation floor tonight with a degree in chemical engineering. Those are the products that CUSD gives, and I'm really proud. I'm sorry Thea isn't there, Joe, but you're in my heart tonight. I'll see you later. And of course, tonight is our last board meeting for our academic year 2022-2023. So I just want to say great work. Thank you everybody who makes CUSD work day in, day out. All good wishes to our graduating seniors, and special wishes, in case you weren't here earlier, we had our retirement celebration tonight. It's remarkable. Special wishes to our retirees in CUSD, and I wish everybody a safe summer.
All right, thank you. Joel, do you have anything to go on?
Yes, just further on the voucher program, it's an incredible drain on the state's budget, and therefore greatly impacting public schools and charter schools. And it's a shame that it's happened.
All right, thank you. I don't have a lot. I have two things. Board members, if you could hang out for a few moments, we need to do some signatures on paperwork. And I would like to give a shout out, I don't remember who said it, but the smartest thing I heard tonight, and we need to all remember it throughout the summer because you're not going to be around, is the mental health helpline is 988. That brings us to a conclusion. Thank you for coming, everybody. Everybody have a good night.